And welcome to Yoga for One. I'm your host and the author, Dr. Suzie Carmack. Today I'd like to share with you my traffic light method from the book Yoga for One, which is going to help you to modify the practice for folks with mobility and medical concerns. In the red zone, we use the chair for support, yellow zone blocks, and work up to using the mat in the green zone. In the red zone, we're focusing on stabilization, so we'll find a way to keep our head and our heart even with our pelvis so that we're not in an inversion. If we don't have any medical challenges that prevent us from going upside down, we can take our hands gently down the chair rail and see how we do with a gentle incline. Notice that we're keeping our knees well bent and we're creating a nice long line for the spine. We're also keeping a light touch on the chair, so most of our strength is in our legs. We'll walk back up the chair seat and find an evenness between our head and heart before carefully walking forward. The yellow zone is only for clients that are able to get to the floor today, which is not all clients, but if it is available, we can begin the journey of downward dog with puppy, essentially a kneeling downward facing dog. One option is to take the block at the forehead and have a nice connection with the earth. We can also take ourselves into a more challenging version of the posture by placing the block between the thighs. From here, we can find our core strength to engage into plank and use the plank to take us back into downward facing dog. Notice the knees are softly bent and we're engaging our bandhas as well as a strong engagement of the inner thighs on the block. From here, we'll come down very gently on the kneecaps and take a little break. Building on the stabilization from the red zone and the centering and core strength from the yellow zone, we can now mobilize on the mat. Coming through chair, we'll first find ourselves on the mat to a gentle puppy here without the use of a block. This is where we're seeing how we feel about being gently upside down before going further. From there, we can find plank and first start with bending our knees and maybe walking the dog. Let's remember that not everyone has available to unbend the knees or to get the heels to the earth, so we'll listen to the body wherever we may be. We have variations here that we can play with: single-legged dog, fire hydrant. However we're going, we're keeping our shoulders even so we can mobilize the lower body. Or we can keep the lower body still while we mobilize the upper body into perhaps a single arm dog, doing our best to not push into the shoulder but to keep a strong micro bend on the standing arm. If we feel stable in the lower body and one arm, we can also try a twisting variation for downward facing dog. Let's notice this is only available to folks that don't have medical concerns that make twisting and being upside down not appropriate. We're turning not from the head or neck, but from the torso. Let's move forward into plank to come down safely one knee at a time, so we can rest in child's. And there you have it, downward facing dog using the traffic light method from my new book, Yoga for One. I hope that you'll join me for this entire series, where I'd love to share with you how we can modify the practice with a chair, with blocks, and the mat. And I hope you'll check out the book and the Yoga for One certification using the links below. I wish you well. Namaste.